Morning guys, Corey here from Sky's the Limit Car Care, and today we're going to talk about how to maintain a ceramic coating. So the most important thing you can possibly do for your ceramic coating is to wash it regularly. Obviously, with it ceramic coated, it's going to look clean for longer, and you might be tempted to wait 3-4 weeks before you wash it, but you really shouldn't do that. You really should, assuming it's a daily driver and not sitting in the garage, you really should wash it every 2 weeks, if not every week. But you want to get the dirt off of there and not let different bugs and all those kind of things sit on there and start to take a toll on your ceramic coating. So when you choose the best soap for washing your ceramic coating, you want something that doesn't have any fillers and gloss enhancers and waxes. All those things aren't necessary with ceramic coating. With old tech, with waxes and stuff like that, then yeah, they would add wax to these soaps, and so a lot of the soaps out there have some wax in them or different things in them to help enhance the gloss of your vehicle. But with a ceramic coating, it was polished to a certain level to make it glossy so that it stays glossy as long as you wash it correctly. And now all you have to do is not use stuff that binds the coating up and clogs it and makes it so it can't do what it does. You don't want to leave grease and wax and stuff on top of your ceramic coating. You want to use products that are made for your ceramic coating. So CarPro Reset, that's a terrific product for that. Yeah, Ultima Paint Guard Wash, this is also a good soap that doesn't have like waxes and stuff in it. If you're in a zone where you cannot wash with a bucket or a foam gun, then CarPro Echo is the way to go. That's a waterless wash. If you're in those zones, you're already very familiar with that, but if you want to learn more about that, we do have a video on that you can check out. If you use a foam cannon, then you can use Reset, just like if you were in the bucket, just like if you're using a bucket, you can use those products in a foam cannon as well. If you have more stuck-on dirt, or you go through areas that have like a lot of mud and stuff like that stuck to your vehicle, then you might consider using something like CarPro Lift. Lift is going to be a stronger soap than these two, so it's not my favorite for using. It's more aggressive than necessary in most cases, so I don't promote Lift a lot. Usually I go with this, like Reset. You've got CQUARTZ on your vehicle, CarPro Reset's the way to go. If you are in a zone that you can't use it, boom, Echo. But if you have a really filthy vehicle, that's when you would use the Lift. You can put that in a foam cannon, that'll loosen up some of that stuff, and then you can come back and bucket wash it. The other step that's really important, or the other point to make that's really important when you're washing your vehicle, maybe the most important point, because scratches are what, over time, little scratches from low quality mitts are what causes you to lose the gloss in a properly polished vehicle. So maybe the most important tool you can possibly have is your wash mitt, and of course your drying towel or whatever means you have of drying, whether it be a blower or a really high quality drying towel like the Microfiber Madness Dry Me Crazy or the Chipmunk. Those are some of my favorite drying towels. But the wash mitt, that is the tool that you're going to be using when the vehicle's still dirty. That's going to be the first thing that's touching that paint when you're going across it while it's still dirty. So you need something that's going to pull the dirt off the vehicle rather than push the dirt into the paint. And that's why you want a soap with a lot of lubrication in it. Foamy suds, they look pretty, but really what you want is a liquid that has a lot of lubricant to it and slippery, and it covers those fibers, and when you lift that, when you rub it across that paint, it pulls that dirt off and it helps release it. So the chemical's important, the soap's important that you have with it, but also the fibers of the mitt are important. If you buy just like a cheap wash mitt, that could damage your car. You really want a high quality wash mitt. There's a lot of pretty fancy looking wash mitts out there. Doesn't necessarily mean they're quality. So you want one that is really high quality in both function, most importantly, but also that's going to last a long time. So we always go with the Microfiber Madness Incredimit or the Microfiber Madness Deli Mitt. This is a new product from Microfiber Madness, and they call it the Deli Mitt because it's delicate mitt. The mitt itself isn't delicate, but if your paint is delicate, then this is definitely the mitt you want to use. We're going to move back into the chemicals a little bit. So we went over the most important step, which was keeping your ceramic coated vehicle clean. The next step is if you run into any specific types of contaminants that don't come off in the wash. Water spots is probably the most important thing to talk about with ceramic coatings after washing. Water spots, you can see a whole video on all the details of what water spots are, what causes them, how that works, if you just click on the link below. We have a whole video that goes into that, so I'm going to try to keep it just high level. But basically, water spots are minerals that dry onto the surface, and then when the water evaporates, the mineral's still there. If you leave them on too long, which you really don't want to do, especially with a ceramic coating, then eventually there will come a point when just a regular soap or even a CQUARTZ Reset or an Ultima or even a Lift, these won't take it off. At that point, you need something a little more on the acidic side. So for that, you would use CQUARTZ Spotless or CQUARTZ Descale. And these are a little more on the acidic side, pH 6, pH 4. And these are able to loosen those minerals up and help you pull those minerals off. Now, if you wait too long, those minerals are eventually going to etch into your ceramic coating or into your paint if you didn't have a ceramic coating. And in that case, you can't really do anything about it but to polish it. If you have to polish it, then you have to ceramic coat it again. So you want to avoid that. Wash regularly. Avoid them completely. If you live in an area that has really bad water, then sometimes it can be you're fighting a losing battle. It can be very difficult. If you have sprinklers, you want to avoid those at all costs, especially well water. If you're washing with well water or washing with hard water, you've got to get all that water off the car before it dries. Get a water softener. Get a DI Spotless. You want to get some means of not leaving any type of hard water on your vehicle. So that's all there is to say about that on the level that we're going into today. The next thing would be bug out. That's another thing that you're going to run into a lot, especially down here in Florida. We get love bugs, all kinds of different bugs. And bug out is, as you would imagine, you want to get the bugs out of the paint. So if you are washing really regularly with ceramic coating, you may not even need this product. The Reset should take bugs off ceramic coating pretty easy, but eventually a couple years go by as that ceramic coating ages, or if you're just not washing it as often as you should, bug out's a nice product to spray on the front end of your vehicle, on the rear view mirrors, and just loosen them up, let it sit there for about 45 seconds just before you go over those areas with your Reset and your Deli Mitt or your Incredimit. So other than that, one other really important maintenance product is the CarPro Iron X. Iron X is for dissolving iron, so you probably recognize this from a product that we recommend for prepping the vehicle as well, but it's also very important for maintaining the vehicle. Over time, as you probably know, little pieces of steel from people's brakes and a variety of things, but people hitting the brakes in front of you, those little centered pieces of steel can come off those brake pads and stick into your paint, and they're tiny. You don't really see them, but over time you feel the paint's not smooth anymore. Well, with a ceramic coating, you can't clay the ceramic coating. If you clay the ceramic coating, clay is abrasive. It's going to remove the hydrophobic layer of that ceramic coating, and if it's too aggressive, it can completely remove the ceramic coating. So since claying is a no-no, CarPro said way back when they first came out with CQUARTZ and introduced that to the world, they said, hey, what are we going to do to avoid the paint getting rough, and which is going to take a toll on the hydrophobics? Well, we need a chemical that will dissolve the brake dust. So that's where Iron X comes in. This is not something you need to use all the time. Depends on your driving habits, how quickly the paint's getting rough. But if it's a daily driver and you're getting a lot of highway miles, then you might need to use this as often as 3 months. In most cases, you probably don't need it except for every maybe 6 to 12 months. And if it's not a daily driver, then it could even go beyond that. I think that covers all of the main. There's other products too, but obviously this gets overwhelming. So if you have any questions or anything you want to go over with us, you're welcome to ask them below or call us. We're always happy to help. One other product I'll mention, didn't bring it out here, but the Tar X, that's great for removing tar. You can learn more about that with us as well. And then the final two products that we're going to go over, these are called boosters. Boosters including CarPro Reload, which you're probably familiar with, it's been out forever, and CarPro Hydro Foam. So some people will prefer a spray-on product where you spray on, wipe it off, and that's CarPro Reload. Has a ton of depth and gloss to the paint. You can use that if you just are somebody that likes to always add a little extra to your vehicle, you can do that. With a ceramic coating, if you really care for it well, then you don't necessarily need these. But they're there if you want them. And as your ceramic coating ages, you may want to do those just to add some more protection to it. So say 2, 3, 4, 5 years goes on, however long it is, but you start losing some of that hydrophobic effect. You do all the things that you need to do to regain it, like use the Iron X, get rid of the minerals, get rid of the iron, whatever it is. But you still don't have that complete hydrophobic nature, that that dirt repellency you're used to and you want to add a little more to it, then these would definitely come into play there. With a ceramic coated vehicle, we recommend Hydro Foam rather than the Hydro 2 spray. Hydro Foam is a really, really cool product. That's my favorite sealant on the market, I would say, as far as easy use and saving me time. Basically, or for the paint at least, basically all you do is you put a little bit of this. There's a bunch of ways to use it. You can check out our video for that. But the way I use it is just put a little bit on my mitt after I've washed it. I come back and my mitt's wet. I put just a little Hydro Foam on the mitt and just rub it across, you know, a couple, the panels are clean now, so just rub it across a couple panels, rinse it off really well, and then move on to the next area. Do a couple more panels. Basically, you can seal the entire vehicle in 5 minutes, and it just works fantastic for that. One last thing, I'm not sure if I mentioned, on the towels, the drying towels, it's another super important thing to not instill swirls in your vehicle. At this point, you know, you had the lubricant with the wash mitt to help you get stuff off of there, but at this point, you're going to dry the vehicle. The drying towel is going to be at a certain point wiping across the surface with no lubricant. It's dry, unless you're using some kind of drying aid. So if you do like to use a drying aid with your drying towel, then this Summit 800 from Microfiber Madness is a great drying towel with something like Echo as a drying aid. And if you don't like to use any kind of drying aid lubricant, then you want something like the Chipmunk. It's the gray striped towel from Microfiber Madness, or the Dry Me Crazy. Personally, I prefer the Chipmunk. That's probably my favorite drying towel. And then CarPro also has a drying towel called the Dehydrate, and that one is quite absorbent, although it's not quite as soft as the Chipmunk, which is why I prefer the Chipmunk. Chipmunk also has an edgeless version, and that's actually my favorite towel. I think that's everything for today. Hopefully I covered everything. If I missed anything, if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, make sure to put those below. If you haven't subscribed already, please go ahead and click the subscribe button up here. That helps us improve our content, and we really appreciate you guys supporting us. Thank you so much for watching, and look forward to seeing you next time.